Okay, guys. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Q&A that the Halo Studios team put out yesterday in regards to the Halo campaign Evolved. Just all around questions that were answered and everything like that. There was like this big Q&A that happened where they kind of just went over some of the things about the game and just things that are going to be required and little questions, like, there's some good questions here, some pretty bad answers in my opinion. I've gone through this already just on my own, just to kind of gauge what we have to go over, just summarize what we have to go over in this video. I wanted to go over it with you guys though and give my opinion on these things. As a lot of you know, I do talk a little bit about Microsoft and Sony and just like how I feel about certain things that they do. And what sucks about it is a lot of times it seems like my videos indicate that I absolutely fucking hate Microsoft or something and I just can't stand them altogether. That's the farthest from the truth. I don't want Microsoft to ever fail. I don't want Xbox as a brand to fail, because that's where I started when it came to online gaming. Like, I started with Halo 3 and that was my game, dude. Like, that was like, oh my god, like that's all I would play, like that was like my main thing. I started to kind of lose interest in Halo though around like after 343, or yeah, when 343 took over pretty much. 343 now is technically Halo Studios, who is making this game. It's like a restructure of 343, but majority of the fan base cannot stand 343, and they have good reason to. They have in a way been the main culprits of ruining Halo. I'm under the impression that 343 isn't what ruined Halo, it's Microsoft. And it's the same thing with Gears of War. I said that in my last video about Gears E-Day. It's not the Coalition that caused the problems, it's Microsoft. They're the ones that give the go ahead. These are their bread and butter games. Like I said in that video, there's the 4 horsemen of the Microslop apocalypse. There's Forza, Fable, Gears, and Halo. Gears and Halo were the top tier games for Xbox. That's what sold Xboxes back in the day. And it's on them to make sure that those games are put in a proper place to succeed. That is the goal here when it comes to these games. Like, these games need to be at the top of their priority list. So when they put a team of people like 343 or the Coalition, people that are inexperienced, you're having them take over after the peak of these games. Gears of War 3, Halo Reach, I should say. That's the peak of these games, and you're now putting an amateur team in charge of Halo 4, 5, and Infinite. Of course things are gonna suck, especially when Microsoft seems to just go, yeah, figure it out. That's kind of how it is. So I blame Microsoft for a lot of these things. This Q&A, they did a good job with just the little answers that we needed to things, and I think that they're doing this Q&A a month early so we can just get rid of the drama now, get the drama out of the way a month beforehand, because if they did this a couple days before the game came out, I think this would have a lot of backlash for the game's sales. I think this gives people a chance to think it over a little bit more and actually have like kind of a common, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna buy this game? Am I not gonna buy this game? I'm gonna tell you guys right now, after reading through this Q&A, and we will go over this together in real time. I'll give you guys some of my opinions on everything. I'll try to go through each question and give a proper answer in my view from things. There's a couple things that don't really apply to me here, such as like the split screen thing that people are really having trouble with right now. I don't play split screen, so it doesn't really apply to me. And I also don't care if I have to have a Microsoft account, because I already have one. So it doesn't really apply to me specifically, but I can see why people might be upset with it. So I want to go over it in the best way I can. I don't want to be too biased here. I don't have much bad to say about Microsoft. You guys have heard everything I have to say about them. I think they shoot themselves in the foot a lot. And I think this Q&A is another one of those moments where they're kind of just shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. But again, I'm still going to buy the game. I just am. Now, I'm not buying it on an Xbox or a PC. I'm buying it on my PlayStation, because that's the best place to play for me right now. But I'm not here to have a console war. I don't give a fuck where these games are. I do think it's crazy that Halo is going to be on PlayStation, which is another reason I'm getting it on PlayStation, because I think it's rare. It's not going to probably happen ever again when it comes to Halo. Unless like Halo 2 and 3 remake, if they do that, come to PlayStation. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think it all depends on where Xbox as a brand is after everything is said and done. Regardless though, we're gonna go through this. I'm gonna stop yapping a little bit. I just want you guys to know, like, I'm not here to promote hating Microsoft at all. If what I say in this video makes you hate Microsoft, that's on Microsoft, or that's on you. That's not on me at all. I'm buying the game regardless. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you not to buy the game. I am gonna tell you, like, there's certain aspects of it that I would say probably don't buy the game if you're having trouble with certain things. But all in all, it's a fucking video game. I don't really give a shit what you do. Now, I'm going to flip over to the screen and we're going to talk a little bit about the Q&A. Right here, we're at the Halo Waypoint website. This is where you're going to get your Q&A. The community leader and everything talked. I think this is the community leader. I recognize the name. Either way, just to let you guys know, the game comes out July 28th. If you buy the premium edition of the game, which I think is like $100. Maybe it's a little less. I'm not sure. I'm not buying that. I'm buying the regular one so I can just play the game on the normal date. You do get the game 5 days early though if you buy the premium edition. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and do that. It doesn't apply to me. I'm not buying it. So first question, and I'm going to go through the questions in order, and I'm going to talk about things in order. There is one big question and answer here that people are going to really want to hear me talk about. That's the only one I'm going to save for the end because it's going to be a long conversation. So the first question is, do you need to find skulls in game before you can apply them? If you're new to Halo whatsoever, which I assume a lot of you are because you're probably PlayStation players that are new to it, Halo has like collectible skulls, and you find the skulls, you pick them up, and you get a trophy or an achievement for it. And these trophies can range from helpful to beneficial to the enemy. It's, you know what I mean? It can be bad for you or good for you. It just depends on what the skull is. There's some skulls that turn off your radar, turn off your ability to gain health back unless you melee people. There's some that are just fun, where it adds some dialogue to the game, or maybe even makes grunts blow up in a cool confetti, you know, like Grunt Birthday Party style. There's a bunch of skulls. In this game though, they said, yes, in order to apply skull modifiers in game, you will need to find and collect them, which is traditional Halo. That makes sense. There are 3 skulls hidden on each mission in Halo Campaign Evolved, and another 3 that are granted upon unlocking Campaign Remix. I don't really know what Campaign Remix is. I'm not too, I could have researched it, I guess, but whatever. Point is, there's 10 missions in the normal Halo CE, but this game will come with 3 new prequel missions, which is cool. I think that's awesome. I love it when a remake adds things. I think that's really cool, as long as it's not detrimental to the game itself. Prequel missions, cool. So if there are 3 in each of those missions as well, we're looking at, and let's pull up our calculator here. We're gonna do, for the people that don't do math all that well, like myself, 3 times 13. That's gonna be 39 skulls, and then I think they said there's 3 more skulls in the remix, so there's about 42 skulls. I might be off on that, maybe I misread, but 42 skulls, that's a lot of skulls. That's a lot more than the traditional Halos. Like, you know, they're adding a lot of cool new skulls, I'm sure, and a lot of skulls that might be shitty, who knows? But point of the matter is, yes, you gotta collect skulls to apply them. Next question, will there be any additional collector's editions up for sale? This is a problem, okay? So like, I'm gonna show you the answer to the question, then we're gonna talk a little bit about the collector's edition really quick and why it's fucked up. Answer, we are humbled and blown away by the overwhelming excitement for the collector's edition. This was always intended to be a limited edition offering, but safe to say demand has far exceeded what was projected and produced. The collector's edition is officially sold out, and there are no plans for a restock. With regards to reports of reselling, our retail partners have audited orders and found no evidence of widespread scalping. That's false. Only a tiny percentage of purchases showed suspicious behavior. And in those cases, orders were refunded and units were put back up for sale. As a reminder, some customers may choose to cancel their pre-order, so there's always a chance a few more units trickle in over the coming weeks. If you're a fan of awesome Halo statues, we are working with partners to release even more Halo Campaign Evolved collectibles throughout the year to help celebrate 25 years of Halo. Stay tuned for more info. Let's talk a little bit about that Campaign Evolved Collector's Edition. These sold out within like 3 hours of them being released, so like you don't get a chance to like get these at all. This is a European one, I believe, because it's in euros, but regardless, they might be right. I didn't know that they like they said they kind of like refunded people that were doing the scalping or whatever, but all in all, there are, at least from what I saw a couple days ago, there were a lot of these being resold, I should say. You're looking at these, you know, it comes with a statue, a steelbook case, all that stupid shit, normal shit that it comes with. It's a pretty cool statue. I think it looks really cool. I think it's really cool. I wanted one personally. It's $300, but people, as you can see, are charging upwards of $700, $800 for these things. And I will admit there were a lot more of these before. These are old Halo games. Yeah, you're not really seeing as many on eBay now. But again, there are some, $750, $660. You know, it looks like there's only 2 right now that are doing this. But when this first happened, there were a fuck ton of scalpers. Like every one of them seemed like they were right here on eBay. They did apparently do a good job at stopping people, and obviously they sold out immediately once they got restocked when it came to the ones that were scalping or whatever they said that they did. In regards to this, I think they should have just made more. Like, I don't know why they didn't do like a second wave of them, because people clearly want them. If you want to make some extra money, just fucking do it again. I don't understand the mentality when it comes to like limited edition stuff. I get it's limited, but like it's almost like it's limited for 3 hours. Like not everybody can like immediately jump on there. Like I was at work when they announced this, and it was like I didn't have a chance to get on their website and just pre-order immediately. And some people don't even have the money right away for it. They're waiting to get paid to do it. So it just kind of sucks, you know. If you're a real fan, you're kind of fucked out of it, you know. That kind of stinks. So it's unfortunate because, you know, a lot of people wanted them, and I actually wanted them, but unfortunately I don't really have the space for it anyway, so I'm not really too worried about it. But it does suck if you weren't able to get one. I'm sorry that if you were unable to, but as you can see, you know, it's kind of hard to get one unless you want to pay $750 from some asshole online for it. This one concerned me a little bit. Will there be a photo mode or theater mode? As a lot of you know, Halo Reach had a really good photo and theater mode. Halo, I think, always needs one because the game is one of the big reasons this remake's a big deal is because it's so beautiful. Like, it looks really good, and like this is an opportunity to be able to take cool pictures and do cool things with like content creating with this game. Answer, and this is my problem here. Answer, the blind skull, which hides your HUD, UI, weapons, and hands from view, combined with the arachnophobia skull, which allows you to fly, should be able to provide some incredible screenshot opportunities, but there are no current plans for a photo or theater mode in Halo Campaign Evolved. This is one of those moments where I'm like, why not? Why not? You know there's a theater mode, photo mode just sitting in the corner somewhere from previous games. Why couldn't you just put a little extra effort in and put that in for people? I like having photo modes. I love photo modes. I think it's great. It helps with thumbnails. It just helps in general to be able to just make the game look good, to be able to look at all the cool things that these developers worked on or the AI worked on. It's just stupid that their answer to this, instead of just being like, nah, we don't have it, they're like, yeah, you can just combine a bunch of skulls together and you can like just do it yourself. It's just, that's janky to me, and that to me is kind of just like a cop out. It's just like, we didn't really want to. There's no current plans. Why not? You know, like, why not? Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? That's gonna benefit you. Like, how much money would it be to add a theater mode that you already pretty much have in the background? I think that's pretty fucking stupid, personally. Next, can I turn off hit markers in game? This was something I was a little concerned about because I did think the hit markers were a little distracting, and I prefer, like, when I play Halo C, I don't really need the hit markers. If you killed an enemy, you know it's dead because it's fucking dead. You can see it dead. But some people like hit markers to help signify, like, hey, I killed it. The answer is yes. We like to start by providing as much feedback to players as possible, so this is enabled by default. But you should feel free to turn this feature off via the in-game settings. I'm surprised they didn't make a skull to turn it off, personally, but I think it's cool that you can go in the settings and turn that off. I think that's smart. I think that's going to help a lot of people who don't like the hit markers like myself. Question, can I wear the Mark IV armor in the base 10 missions? So if you don't know, they showed off a trailer at the Xbox showcase showing the new prequel missions for the game, which are 3 missions that are going to take place obviously before the regular Halo campaign. These missions, Master Chief is wearing his Mark IV armor instead of his Mark V armor, which evolves into Mark VI armor after a while and all that good stuff. And a lot of people are very like attached to the idea of Master Chief's, you know, armor being customizable and everything like that. I don't really give a fuck. You're not really seeing him except for in cutscenes, and I think his Mark V armor looks pretty cool. But I do think this answer is a little stupid. Answer, we love the Mark IV armor too, so we understand the desire to wear it everywhere. But it will only be available in the 3 new bonus missions. This is something I think that is just really stupid. I think the more customization, the better. You know, it's a single player / co-op game. It's like, who are you hurting to have these things? And then for them to answer it like, we love the Mark IV armor too, and we understand that you want it, but we're not doing it. It's just, it feels like another, you're shooting yourself in the foot here, man. Like, why don't you just let people customize? Why don't you just let people look like have the Master Chief that they want? Similar to like Halo Reach, where it was like, you could customize Noble 6 as much as you wanted, and he would look different in the cutscenes. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second as well. But I do think that's stupid. I think it's dumb that like, it's only reserved for those 3 missions. I get it for the canon sake of the game, you know, the lore of it, but it's like, just let me make them look however I want them to look. Who gives a fuck? Next question. How does the new third person mode work? Is it possible to play this way right from the start? Answer, the ability to play in third person is an optional way to experience the game that can be enabled once you've found the perspective skull hidden in one of the game's 13 missions. To learn more about skulls and the new remix feature in Halo Campaign Evolved, check out this blog. So if you didn't see it already, there is Halo's never really been third person. The only time it's ever been third person is in Halo 3 when you could, and on from there. But Halo 3 started the whole, you could rip turrets off and it would go third person. So you can kind of see Master Chief or whoever you are shooting a Gatling gun. But other than that, there was never really a third person mode in the game. Now though, I think this is awesome. I think people should be able to play however they want to play. I don't think this should be a skull, to be completely honest with you. Just because it feels like it should be just one of those things where let me just play how I want to play, especially because there's cosmetics in this game. Like there's like a collector's edition stuff where there's like 5 different like suits or cosmetics or whatever. I think I should just be able to play the game in third person from the start. I don't see why this is something I have to find. I think it's just implemented as like a choice. You know what I mean? Let me do what I want to do. I don't think the third person looks all that good. When it comes to Halo, for me, I played in first person. I'm not gonna really fuck with the third person. Maybe I'll do like a little stream where I play in third person a little bit, and maybe it feels good, but I'm not really interested in it too much. I do think it's stupid. You gotta find a skull for it though. I think it's kind of padding, but it is what it is. No big deal to me. Question: will this? I can never pronounce it. Stanchion be used in the bonus missions or in the main missions via campaign remix? So the Stanchion is, if you watch the trailer at all, Sergeant Johnson, who is like your kind of partner in like the main game, as well as your partner in like the prequel missions. He's pretty much predominant in the prequel missions, more so than he is in the regular Halo campaign, but the prequel missions have him more so. He has this like rail gun that he uses in those prequel missions. And if you played Halo 4, there was a rail gun in that game. Cool gun. Unfortunately, according to this answer, Sergeant Johnson's stanchion, which was featured in our new mission trailer, is his personal weapon and not one he likes to share. As such, it will not be featured outside his personal use in the prequel missions. Now, they did not say necessarily that you're never going to be able to use it. Like they did say it's only going to be like his personal thing in the prequel missions. Maybe there is a way to do it in campaign remix. I'm assuming though, from the wording here, you're never going to be able to use that weapon. I think it's cute that they're like, no, he doesn't like people using it. I think that's cute for lore purposes. But again, you added a gun that nobody else is able to use. That's stupid. Just let people play the game how they want to fucking play the game, man. It's one of those things, balancing, you could say it's balancing wise, like it fucks the game over. But at the same time, it's like you're adding a bunch of new weapons anyway, or new to this game at least. It's like, let's just let people play the way they want to play, especially in this campaign remix, which, like I said, I don't really know what the campaign remix is. I assume when you beat the game, you can kind of like jumble the game up a little bit and do different cool things with the skulls and everything. So I think that's what people are referring to, but I do think it's stupid you're not able to do that. That's dumb. Next question. If I customize my Spartan, will they show up in cutscenes with that armor? Answer: to ensure that the narrative remains as faithful to the original game as possible, the personalized customization options you choose will not show up during cutscenes. That right there made it where I don't care about cosmetics anymore. I no longer have a personal affiliation to, like a personal thing to want to go out of my way to buy customization now. I understand if like the mission, like the cutscenes are pre-rendered, which I think they are, kind of similar to like how Halo 2 Anniversary was. I understand that. I completely get it. You can't really change much, but I think they could have put some more effort in. And if there's only going to be like 5 new armors that you can put on Master Chief, why don't you just put them in the cutscenes? Like you really don't have an AI that can do that. This is one of those moments where it's like, okay, just have AI do it then. And of course they aren't going to do it. I just think it's a little bit of a shortcut to not let you do that. And I think it's kind of stupid to be able to buy armor and stuff just to see in game and not in the cutscenes. I've always been somebody who really likes, like I said before, in Halo Reach, whenever you customize your character, granted, those were not pre-rendered, but you would be able to see your main character in whatever outfit. You could be pink, you could be purple, you could do whatever the fuck you want. And I think you should be able to do that in this game too. I don't see why that should be a problem. But again, pre-rendered, I get it, I guess. Question: will Lasso mean playing the game with truly all skulls active? Like I said, Lasso is tough, man. You like in the old games, you'd have to put every skull on. You got to beat the game on the hardest difficulty. Shit's hard, but it's satisfying. It's really fun when you finish it with your friends. It's a good time. Answer: we'll have a specific selection of skulls for Lasso, similar to the MCC. It won't be all skulls, but it will still be extremely challenging. We'll share more about the specific Lasso selection in the lead up to launch. I mean, if they're making it, if it's still challenging, that's all that really matters to me. So long as it doesn't change the integrity of how it feels to do it. That's the point in Lasso, is the challenge of it. And it sucks. It's going to be a trophy probably, so it's going to entice me even more to have to do it. Next question. How does the game balance enemy encounters for co-op? This is one I really like, actually. This was an answer I really, really like. Answer: if you load up a co-op session via split screen or online play, Each mission will scale appropriately depending on how many players you have in your lobby. This will show up in a few different ways. That tells me it's like Borderlands, where when you add more people each time, the enemies get stronger and there's more of them, you know, to kind of balance it out with more players. And obviously, the original Halo's campaign was only 2-player co-op. This one is 4-player co-op. So we're looking at a pretty high scale here, it sounds like. So the way that they're going to scale this, sorry, I have an itch. Number of enemies. You may encounter a higher number of enemies, though this is largely determined by your difficulty selection. Rank of enemies. Enemies have a chance to upgrade to a higher rank. The more players and the higher the difficulty, the higher the chance they will upgrade. Enemy intelligence increases. The enemy AI will avoid grenades more frequently, target and shoot at players more efficiently, and know when to fall back to gain their shields more effectively. And since not everyone in your co-op session will be on the same skill level, I like this. We've also introduced a new feature, difficulty modifiers, to help everyone enjoy their time together. Difficulty modifiers allow each player to adjust settings for themselves, which can help them have an easier time or a more difficult challenge. These settings are damage resistance, increase or decrease how much damage you take from the enemies. So that tells me that, like, let's say I'm playing with your mom and your mom's not very good at games. You know, she's really only good at having sex with me. So we're playing the game together and she's not very good at it. She keeps dying. It sucks for her, you know. There is a way now that you can make it where she doesn't take damage at all. You know, she won't take damage at all and she'll still feel like she's having a good time playing the game. In this case, it also says shield recharge rate. Anyway, shield recharge rate. Increase or decrease how quickly your shields will begin to recharge. Again, you can adjust that for if somebody's not good at the game, you can adjust how much they regain their shields, how fast. Damage modifier, melee damage modifier, and ammo. You can put infinite ammo, bottomless clips, etc. So if you have 4 players in your lobby, expect to face more Covenant resistance than if you play solo. But be sure to take advantage of difficulty modifiers to ensure everyone in the lobby is having a good time. I like that a lot. Note, there are some achievements that will not be earnable when difficulty modifiers are enabled for any member of your fire team. Makes sense to me. But I think that's cool. If there's like a dad that's playing with their kid, or like I said, me playing with your mom, it's going to be nice to be able to adjust for them, you know, so the kid doesn't feel like he's not doing anything in the game. At least he can still feel like, hey, I'm having a good time. You know what I mean? I think that's a cool addition. I think that's great, actually. Can you still backpack reload? If you don't know what backpack reloading is, in the original game, you could kind of like swap your gun and it would reload in your backpack. Like if you did a specific, like, I don't know, I don't remember exactly how to do it, but you'd switch your guns mid reload and you could swap and it would automatically be reloaded so you could skip the animation. We love this button glitch in the original Halo campaign Evolved, or Combat Evolved, excuse me. So we wanted to preserve its behavior with the stowed reload skull. That's cool, they made it into a skull, which allows your weapon to reload while on your back to mimic this behavior. Although it's no longer a button glitch, its spirit continues to live on. I like that. I think that's cool. I think it's fine. You know, I think that's it's a clever little way to say, hey, we remember, you know. Question: will there be more content or features such as additional story, DLC, firefight, new skulls, more customization, etc. added after launch? Answer: Halo Campaign Evolved is meant to focus on remaking the original campaign of Halo Combat Evolved and providing 3 fun new prequel missions. There are no plans to expand the game into a live service with continued content or feature additions. That kind of stinks, because I think a remake, you should be able to kind of do more with it. You know, like they can add these prequel missions, but they don't want to add anything else in the long run, which tells me they're kind of giving up on this game right after it's done. Like there's not going to be a bunch of microtransactions and stuff, which I guess is fine. But I did want to see Firefight come into this game. I think, you know, Firefight is a big thing for Halo, and I think it's something that'll keep people playing it. I think if they were able to add a firefight mode, they don't have to like update it all the time, but if they did like a feature complete firefight 4-player mode, like ODST style, I think people would have a good time with it. And I don't see why you can't add that in later or even add it in with the game right now. But they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. It is what it is. I think it would really help the game if they did. But again, I think a lot of the goal with this game is to make it for cheap and sell it on PlayStation and all the other consoles, and, you know, get the most out of it they can while spending the least amount. That's kind of Microsoft's thing. Lately, I don't know, this game was being developed before Asia took over, so I don't know, I'm not sure, but it seems like that's the case here, is you're not going to get anything else after this game comes out. Will there be assassinations? No. There's no animation for assassinations like you would in Reach or Halo 4 or anything like that. It's not in this game. We've seen it already. It's not going to happen. Will there be a public demo of Halo Combat Evolved ahead of the launch? There's no plans for it. There's none. The only way you're getting the game early is if you buy the premium edition. That's it. I do think they should have done the first mission, the Pillar of Autumn, as a demo. I think that would have been really beneficial for the game. I think demos are very helpful for the game's all around just sales. I'm a big fan of demos, and I think that would have been a cool thing to do, just to give people a little early access to it. But they're not doing it, so fuck them. Question: do I need to play the original missions before I play the 3 new missions? Answer: you can play the prequel missions as soon as you launch the game. We want everyone to experience this new story, so we've decided not to gate it behind any specific task, action, or paywalls. Load up the game, select new missions, and enjoy another adventure with Master Chief and Sergeant Johnson. For brand new players, we do recommend starting with the original missions, as they are designed to help onboard players with tutorials along the way. Makes sense. I mean, that's cool. I'm glad they don't make you start from the prequel missions, because I think that would have really ruined the pacing and the flow of Halo Combat Evolved. I think these new additions are great. I'm not going to start with these new prequel missions, though. I'm starting from where the game technically starts, and then I'll do the prequel missions later, and maybe I'll do a playthrough where I do all 13 in a row. But as of right now, I like that they didn't keep it in any way. I'm glad that they made it where it's a part of the game. They didn't charge you additional for it. They just have it in the game. That's it. You don't have to play them right away. You don't have to play them at all if you don't want to get the full experience, but you can if you want. Last question is cringy. Is it July 28th yet? No, but whatever. All right. I think majority of these questions and answers were okay. I mean, I really think that there was a lot here that they could do better with. I don't think a lot of people are too happy about some of these answers, specifically, you know, like the firefight not being a thing in the long run, with the, no demo. I think that sucks. I do think though that like the lasso thing is cool. You know, they changed the way lasso works. I don't really give a shit, but they did something with it. I like that there's new balance things with co-op. I like that a lot. I think it's going to change. So like if I play the game single player, it'll be just like how it was in Combat Evolved. If I play with 2 players, it's going to be a little harder. If I play with 3 players, it might be a little harder than that. 4 players, it's going to be completely different when it comes to the way enemies function altogether. And I think that's really cool. I think the ability to adjust damage and stuff for people that are playing together, I think being able to adjust the game with modifiers the way you want to play is really cool. And I'm glad that that's not like gonna affect anybody else. It's just gonna affect you. So now we're gonna get to the one that everybody's talking about, the one that everybody's upset about right now, and rightfully so. Question: are there any Xbox account requirements to play the game solo or co-op? Meaning, am I gonna need to sign into a Microsoft account? Am I gonna need to do this and that to actually play the game? Answer: here we go. Yes, just as you do today for Halo the Master Chief Collection and Halo Infinite, to ensure smooth cross-platform progression, to play Halo Campaign Evolved, you will need a Microsoft account and Xbox gamer tag, regardless of the platforms you play on. So, if you're playing on PlayStation or Steam, this is very similar to what PlayStation did with Helldivers, and this was very bad. This was bad. People did not like this. I don't give a shit. I'm not playing Helldivers on PC. I don't really give a fuck, but some people do. Some people don't like it because a lot of times with Sony, there were certain countries that weren't able to use like their account. Like they weren't able to log into a Sony account because it wasn't allowed in that country. This might be the same type of problem, and I think a lot of people don't like it because of that. Me personally, I already have an Xbox account. I have a gamer tag, so it doesn't apply to me, but it does apply to a lot of other people, and I can see why people might be upset with this. But in the long run, this is Xbox's game. Like they like, this is Microsoft's game. Like this is their game. They're renting out, they're loaning this out to PlayStation and Steam and everything like that. They technically don't even have to release this game on anything but Xbox and Windows. So the fact that you have to do this doesn't really come as a surprise to me. It's just, it's their game. They want you to log in so they get your data. They want to make sure that they know people are logging into Microsoft accounts and have a gamer tag as well as the PlayStation account and everything like that. So as much as it sounds stupid, it's just the way that things are now. This is how they like to do things. And, maybe it'll alienate some people, but not me. It doesn't really apply to me, but I can see why people are upset about it. Here's where we get really bad though. On the Xbox Series X/S, if you are playing split screen on an Xbox console, the second player will also need a unique Microsoft account. This is pretty common, I would say. I mean, it's always kind of been like that. It's free to make an Xbox account. It just requires subscription to play online pretty much. If you want to play online co-op, you will need an active Xbox Game Pass subscription. That makes sense. You're playing online. You're going to need an account to do that. You're going to need a subscription to do that. That's how Xbox Gold has always been. So therefore, I don't think that's that big of a deal. I do think it's a little weird because I thought that if you had Xbox Gold on one account, everybody gets it. Same with PlayStation Plus. If the main console holder, like the main account, has PlayStation Plus, everybody gets PlayStation Plus on that console. I don't think that's the case here, though, with Xbox or PlayStation. I could be wrong about that. PlayStation 5, if you're playing split screen on PlayStation 5, both accounts will need to have a PlayStation Plus and be linked to a Microsoft account. Having these active PlayStation Plus subscriptions will also provide access to online co-op play. All right, guys, sorry, this is Future Bronze here. So I was going to go into an entire spiel about how it could be Microsoft's fault, it could be Sony's fault, but I thought that it was both of their faults to make this a requirement with the PS Plus thing. But as you can see on screen here, as I'm editing this video, they tweeted out, we incorrectly stated, and this is from Halo themselves, we incorrectly stated that PlayStation Plus is required for local co-op split screen play. Local split screen co-op requires a PlayStation account for each player, but does not require a PlayStation Plus account, which is the same thing as the Xbox stipulations. So if you're watching this and you were hoping I would go into a huge spiel about why Microsoft's bullshit or why Sony's bullshit, I'm not going to. My first thought was, this was worded poorly. Like, they didn't word this correctly and there's got to be a mistake. That was my first assumption. But when they didn't reply to it in that day, I was like, oh, maybe it's not a wording problem. Maybe they actually are just gauging it, which they could have been. I'm not sure, but I'm glad this came up because now I don't have to edit an entire like 10 minutes of me talking about it. All in all, though, I do think it's pretty cool that you don't have to, I think it's cool that it's the exact same thing. I think a lot of people are still going to be upset that you have to have a Microsoft account to play the game through PlayStation. But again, I think you're stupid because that's what all these companies are going to do, especially if it's their game going on another console. They need to be able to gauge who's playing their game, and they want people to be logged into their Microsoft accounts to do it. You can make a Microsoft account for free, though there are some countries you probably can't. So I can see why people might be upset about that, like I said, with the Helldivers thing, but I wanted to clarify here, and I'm glad this tweet came out, because if I would have released that video and then this came out, I would have had to make a whole new video. So I'm still unsure. I can't find too much information about it, but I'm still unsure whether or not you have to have a stable online connection at all times to play this game. So if I want to play the game just solo without internet, I'm not sure if I'm able to do that or not. From what I'm reading right here, according to AI, Google, it does say that you don't have to be strictly online. You don't have to always strictly be online for solo play, but it does require players to maintain an active internet connection to be logged into a linked Microsoft/Xbox account at least once to initialize and verify the game. So I do think for like that day one patch and to log into your Microsoft account, you do need an internet connection right away. But I don't know if you have to always have a stable connection. I'm really not sure. I'm sure we'll hear more about that down the road. There's gonna be somebody on Twitter bitching about that. But all in all, I don't think the game should be online required. I mean, for a day one patch, sure, but like, it should be like the old days where I just put the game in my Xbox or in my PlayStation, whatever, and like just play the game. Like, I think this is something that's been going on a lot lately with gaming, is like, you gotta have an internet connection all the time. And I guess I get it, but at the same time, it's like, just let me play the fucking game. You know what I mean? So I'm not too sure what that's gonna be down the road, but I'm sure you have to have an internet connection to start the game up and to log in to play the game, which kind of stinks. But all in all, let me know how you guys feel about this. Let me know if there's any information that I might have missed here that you can kind of correct me on, or just give me to establish later on. Either way, I'm excited for this game. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be one of the games in July. That and Assassin's Creed are the two games in July that I'm really looking forward to. Both are remakes, unfortunately, but it's going to be a good time. I think they're going to both be fun. And Halo is close to my heart, and I'm very excited to jump back in with some old friends and just kind of experience this campaign again. I think a lot of newer fans are going to really like this game as well, even though maybe it doesn't have the same heart and soul as the original release back in 2001. It's kind of hard to recapture that. It really is, but it does look pretty faithful down to everything. I mean, there's a lot of people that are complaining that Cortana's titties aren't big enough or whatever. And, I want to look at virtual characters' asses and titties all I want to, but, I'm not going to be that guy that doesn't buy a game because the AI in the game's tits aren't big enough. It's just get a grip on reality here. I think this game will be fine. I think people are going to enjoy it. I do think that this online thing is a little weird, and I thought the PlayStation Plus mishap that they did here was a little bit weird, a little sus, but I'm glad they corrected themselves. And I do think if I'm gauging hot or cold on these questions and answers, I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, they missed every answer. I think there are quite a few. I think it's about like 70-30. I think quite a few of these are good. And I think quite a few of these are pretty bad. You know, I think there's a couple things that are bad. I think the main thing that was really bad about this was the subscription stuff. And I think they corrected themselves on this one. I'm not sure if it was intentional for them to release it, you know, wrong at first or not, but you know, let's just chalk it up as a mistake and let's go forward and hopefully the game is proper. Let's hope that there's no bullshit anti-consumer shit involved in this game going forward. But I do think this Q&A was fine. I think it was exactly what I was expecting. Nothing really affected me all that much. You know, I'm in the US and I can have a Microsoft account logged in on PlayStation. Some people might not be able to do that in other countries, so I feel for them. But let me know what you guys think. Are you guys getting this campaign evolved? Are you guys even interested in Halo anymore? Do you give a fuck? Did this video do a good job to help you out? Let me know. I will post the Q&A specifically in the description. That way you guys can actually look it over yourselves so you don't have to see my ugly mug talk about it. But all in all, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for hanging out. My point in this channel is to talk about things that I care about and to just kind of hear what you guys have to say about things and have a conversation with people. You know, there's plenty of times where I argue with people in the comments about something and then we end up settling it and that person subscribes. You know what I mean? It happens sometimes. We're all humans, and I hope to see you guys on the Halo ring. So thanks guys. Love you. Bye.